Hidden advantages of every U.S. service rifle explained. We are kicking things off with the FN individual weapon system, twice as accurate as an M4. That's what the Army Marksmanship Unit discovered when they tested FN's individual weapon system. This thing shoots a stainless steel 6.5 by 43 lightweight intermediate caliber cartridge that weighs 20% less than brass, but hits harder and reaches farther than 5.56. The recoil feels softer than a pillow fight, despite launching rounds that crack body armor at 900 yards, thanks to a long-stroke piston with a self-regulating gas block. Slap a suppressor on or take it off, doesn't matter. No adjustments needed. FN made it modular with 3 barrel lengths, 12.5 inches for room clearing, 14.5 for standard work, and 18 for precision shooting. Every variant already has a national stock number, meaning any service branch can requisition these tomorrow. But here is the problem. It's another non-NATO caliber joining 5.56, 7.62, and 6.8 by 51 in the logistics nightmare. Plus, it's still in testing as of 2026, so long-term durability and production costs remain unknown. But if this passes evaluation, squads get a rifle that outperforms the M4 in literally every metric while weighing about the same, while the FN system pushes the boundaries of what 5.56 can become. Some missions demand even more reach, which brings us to a rifle built for an entirely different problem. Geissele Mark1, Motto, Naval Special Warfare needed a suppressed 6.5 Creedmoor sniper support gun that could swap to 7.62 NATO faster than you can order coffee. The Mark1 Motto delivers exactly that. User-level conversion from 6.5 Creedmoor to 7.62 NATO in under 5 minutes. Built as a full-time suppressed system from day one, it uses a low back-pressure can that eliminates the gas blowback drama plaguing retrofitted 7.62 ARs. Evaluations show sub-MOA 10-round groups with quality 6.5 Creedmoor, putting SR-25 class precision in a lighter, suppression-optimized package. The ambidextrous controls and match trigger make it equally viable for precision overwatch or rapid semi-auto work. That 20-inch barrel extracts maximum velocity from 6.5 Creedmoor for mid-range dominance, but when you need barrier penetration, swap to 7.62 without missing a beat. Naturally, there's a price. Length and weight make this a beast to carry. A 20-inch barrel with suppressor and optics turns it into a telephone pole, stellar for overwatch positions, terrible for clearing compounds. And 6.5 Creedmoor is boutique ammo that won't be stocked at every forward operating base. It's a specialized tool for mid-range overwatch, built for guys who need to reach out and touch two-legged targets at distance while their buddies handle the close-quarters chaos. Speaking of close-quarters chaos, remember I said some rifles are specialized? Well, this next one makes specialized look like an understatement. M231 FPW. The firing port weapon is full auto only, no stock, no real sights. The absolute psychopath of the rifle world. The M231 was designed for one job: stick it through a Bradley fighting vehicle's firing port and hose down anyone stupid enough to get close. This thing fires at 1,100 to 1,200 rounds per minute in full auto only. No semi-auto option, no stock, no proper sights, just pure, unhinged violence. The later versions literally deleted the stock and sights, adding a heavy collar that screws into the Bradley's port, turning it into a built-in hull machine gun fed by 30-round mags. About 65% of its parts are common with the M16 family, which is great for maintenance. But try using this thing like a normal rifle and you'll understand why the manual warns about excessive muzzle climb. It's only authorized for tracer rounds in service, and the barrel twist won't even stabilize heavier bullets properly. Most Bradley side ports got eliminated in armor upgrades, but these guns still hang around as emergency self-defense weapons. But what about when there's no vehicle to protect you? Just you, a parachute, and hostile territory below? Fighter pilots needed an answer, so the Air Force came up with the GAU-5A ASDW, the aircrew self-defense weapon. Ejecting from a fighter jet over hostile territory with just a pistol and a prayer is a special kind of nightmare. This rifle fixes that by stuffing a legit 5.56 carbine into a survival compartment under the ejection seat. Using a quick detach barrel system, the whole weapon plus 4 30-round mags fits under your butt. When you hit the silk, you snap the barrel assembly into the collar, clamp 2 latches, unfold the grip and sights, and you're ready to fight in under a minute. Trained pilots do it in 30 seconds. They settled on a 12.5-inch barrel because it's short enough to stash, but long enough to keep 5.56 velocities over 2,600 FPS with lethal fragmentation out to 200 yards. It's basically an M4A1 with a takedown kit, same manual of arms, same ammo, same mags. The downside? Usually just folding iron sights, no fancy optics, and yeah, assembling a rifle when you're potentially injured and definitely stressed isn't ideal. But for downed aircrew needing standoff capability until rescue arrives, the rifle provides actual defensive reach instead of just prayers and a sidearm. Back on the ground with Marine infantry squads, a different problem emerged. Their machine gunners couldn't land accurate first shots because that open bolt slammed forward and destroyed their aim. The Marines fixed it with the M27 infantry automatic rifle. The M249 squad automatic weapon fires from an open bolt, which means that heavy bolt carrier slams forward when you pull the trigger, destroying your first round accuracy. The Marines got tired of this and replaced it with the M27, a magazine-fed HK416 variant that fires from a closed bolt with a free-floating, cold, hammer-forged barrel. Suddenly, the automatic rifleman became the most accurate shooter in the squad, hitting targets at 650 yards that regular M4s struggle with. The short-stroke gas piston system keeps heat and carbon out of the receiver, preventing cook-offs during sustained fire, while the M249 fires from an open bolt that makes precise first shots basically impossible. The M27's closed bolt system with a free-floating barrel lets the automatic rifleman move like a rifleman and shoot like a designated marksman. Here's the sneaky advantage. That cold hammer-forged barrel and free-float rail make this thing absurdly accurate for an automatic rifle. We're talking sub-2 MOA, often outperforming actual designated marksman rifles. Marines engage targets out to 650 yards with this bad boy. But critics aren't wrong about the trade-offs. Dropping from a 200-round belt to a 30-round magazine fundamentally changes suppression dynamics. Frequent reloads break fire continuity. The barrel heats up fast with no quick-change capability like the M249. And early 5.56 enhanced performance ammo caused bolt-over brass malfunctions and premature wear. The Marines realized they could squeeze even more precision out of the M27 investment without spending another dime, so they came up with the M38 Squad designated marksman rifle. This is a beautiful example of military efficiency. Instead of designing a whole new rifle, the Marines just played favorites with their existing M27. Not all barrels come off the production line equal. Microscopic differences in rifling mean some M27s naturally shoot tighter groups than others. The Marines started binning them, hand-picking the most accurate M27s and redesignating them for marksmanship. Free precision upgrade without signing a single procurement contract. Slap the same Leupold Mark IV scope that made the Mark 12 SPR famous on top, and suddenly that 16.5-inch barrel is engaging targets past 650 yards. The 2.5 to 8 times variable magnification turns blurry blobs into identifiable threats. Same logistics as the M27, same parts, same training. Just hand-pick the shooters and give them better glass. Military efficiency at its finest. Precision shooting purists throw shade at that short barrel though. Lower velocity means more wind drift and bullet drop at distance. The 5.56 round needs speed for fragmentation, so stubby barrels reduce effective lethal range compared to 18 or 20-inch SPR-style rifles. But squad-level marksmen still need to move with infantry, and the M38 balances precision with practicality better than hauling a full-length designated marksman rifle through urban terrain. Meanwhile, in the Afghan mountains, Army units faced a brutal reality. Insurgents with PKMs and Dragunovs engaged patrols from 600 to 900 yards, where M4s were basically throwing spitballs. Every squad needed 7.62 capability, so the Pentagon came up with the M110A1 squad designated marksman rifle. Every infantry squad now carries organic 7.62 capability through the A1. That Germany's G28-based short-stroke piston keeps the rifle cool and clean even during suppressed rapid fire. The cold, hammer-forged barrel guarantees 1.5 MOA accuracy, and the OSS suppressor doesn't increase bolt speed, eliminating the need for gas adjustments when going quiet. The SIG Sauer Tango 6 optic is the real tactical advantage. At 1 times, it functions like a red dot for close quarters. At 6 times, you're engaging threats at 650 yards. Same rifle, room clearing, or precision work. This transforms the SDMR from a specialized sniper light into a versatile battle rifle that fights everywhere. Pair that with a Geissele match trigger and you're exploiting every bit of mechanical accuracy. But here's where people get angry. The Army gave a 600-meter rifle 1 to 6 times magnification when the 2005 Mark 12 had 3 to 9 times glass for shorter engagement ranges. The leadership literally said they didn't want soldiers playing sniper. That's buying a Ferrari and governing it at 55 miles per hour. The 16.3-inch barrel sacrifices 150 to 200 FPS compared to the older 20-inch M110, cutting effective range and terminal velocity beyond 500 yards. Some operators report it doesn't consistently exceed older M110 accuracy despite superior components. Soldiers also complain it's unwieldy and heavy compared to the Scar H. When special operations needed a 7.62 rifle at the start of the War on Terror, they did not wait for the Pentagon bureaucracy. Instead, they pulled M14s from storage and turned them into the Mark18 Enhanced Battle Rifle. Rather than wait years for procurement, they bolted M14 actions into SAGE International aluminum chassis, added rails for modern optics and lasers, and fielded instant designated marksman rifle. That machined aluminum chassis with tension screw bedding eliminated the accuracy-killing shifts from wood or fiberglass stocks. Old rifles suddenly shot way more consistently. SEALs, Rangers, and designated marksmen ran these hard, delivering serious stopping power using weapons already paid for decades ago. But here is the problem. These things are ergonomic disasters. Front heavy enough to induce shooter fatigue in 20 minutes, safety inside the trigger guard, slow magazine release, and field stripping so complicated that removing the action from the chassis shifts your zero, so nobody wants to properly clean it. The M14 action is open to the elements compared to the sealed AR platform, so sand invades everything. The Marines watched SOCOM's improvisation and decided to build their own version with some modifications, the M39 Enhanced Marksman Rifle. The Marine Corps took the Mark14 EBR concept and made it their own by locking it to semi-auto only. The M39 looks similar to the Mark14, but features critical differences. No full auto option, because full auto on a precision rifle is just barrel abuse disguised as capability. That 22-inch barrel squeezes out 2,832 FPS with M118 LR, giving superior ballistics for reaching 850 yards. Every bit of velocity matters when you're fighting gravity and wind. Marines configured the stock to work with M40A3 sniper accessories, basically syncing it with Scout sniper logistics. Same SAGE aluminum chassis concept, keeping that M14 action locked solid for consistent accuracy. But just like its Mark 14 cousin, the M39 weighs 16.5 pounds loaded, basically a boat anchor with a trigger. Maintenance complexity didn't magically disappear either. Knight's Armament applied this same obsessive engineering to 7.62 and created a platform that became the blueprint for modern semi-auto snipers, the SR-25. Built as 7.62 NATO, this bad boy shares controls with the M16 and M4, meaning troops transitioning from carbines barely need retraining. Later variants got fully ambidextrous controls. Everything works from either side. Massive tactical advantage when shooting from cover or non-dominant positions. The SR-25 uses a straight gas tube and optimized buffer system that tames recoil way better than standard AR-10s, enabling faster follow-up shots. Many variants use Obermeyer 5R rifled barrels, contributing to legendary accuracy. Knight's Armament guarantees sub-MOL, with many examples hitting 0.5 MOL. That's precision rifle territory from a semi-auto gas gun. The SR-25 is essentially the foundation for the M110 sniper system. Same DNA, same Knight's Armament manufacturing, going back to Eugene Stoner's AR-10 design. Decades of special operations refinement baked into every component. Proven, accurate, and shares enough commonality with AR platforms that parts and support exist everywhere. After perfecting 7.62, Knight's Armament turned their engineering prowess to building the most reliable 5.56 rifle ever made. One so dependable that Delta Force and the Secret Service stake lives on it, the SR-16. Because when a single malfunction means mission failure or a dead president, you need a rifle that simply refuses to quit. The advantage is the E3 bolt, the most advanced AR bolt ever made. Knight's Armament rounded the locking lugs instead of using square ones, eliminating stress concentration points where cracks normally start. Dual ejector springs ensure spent casings eject even under violent suppressor back pressure. The lobster tail extractor with 2 springs applies uniform rim pressure. They reduce the cam pinhole diameter, leaving more metal where it matters most. This bolt survives 20,000 plus rounds, where standard M4 bolts crack at 6,000 to 10,000. Triple the service life when the Secret Service protects the president with it and Delta runs it on missions you'll never hear about. That's passing tests most rifles never face. But around 2019, SEAL Team 6 had a specific problem with their HK-416s, so they switched to the Noveske N4, shocking everyone by returning to direct impingement. The reason? HK-416 piston systems choke on 300 blackouts pressure variants between supersonic and subsonic. Noveske's direct impingement handles that swing gracefully. The Naval Special Warfare Development Group built a hybrid, Gen 3 billet upper machined from solid aluminum for rigidity, Gen 1 forged lower because it's lighter, slimmer, and fits standard M4 accessories better. The proprietary Navy Profile 10.5-inch stainless barrel is specifically tuned for the Dead Air Sandman S suppressor. That combination delivers quiet, reliable performance while weighing significantly less than the HK-416. Stainless steel instead of chrome-lined carbon delivers superior accuracy. Tune it for subsonic 300 blackout, and you've got a door-breaching weapon that whispers. The Gen 3 handguard has curved sides with M-lock at 3 positions. Gen 4 went octagonal with M-lock on 7 sides, including offset angles for maximum mounting flexibility. This gun was built for one specific mission set and optimized ruthlessly for that purpose. Explosive ordnance disposal teams needed a rifle for standoff munitions disruption, shooting explosives from safe distances. They needed 7.62 power with a gas system that keeps running in harsh conditions, which is exactly what the SIG Sauer 716G2 delivers. The Gen 2 update slimmed this AR-10 from over 10 pounds to around 8.5, making it one of the lighter piston-driven platforms available. The adjustable gas regulator is the real advantage for adverse environments, dealing with Middle Eastern sand or switching between suppressed and unsuppressed fire. Direct impingement guns get sluggish. The G2's piston keeps carbon out, and that gas valve lets you crank flow if fouling or extreme cold bog things down. For EOD teams doing standoff munitions disruption, shooting explosives from safe distances to detonate them, this makes perfect sense. The 7.62 round has energy to crack casings or set off explosives that 5.56 would just annoy. The adjustable gas means it keeps running even when neglected, which matters when you're focused on not getting blown up instead of rifle maintenance. This was the smartest move by the Department of War, to use commercial off-the-shelf solutions for specialized requirements instead of developing expensive programs. When you need a purpose-built 7.62 battle rifle designed specifically for frontline combat, though, FN engineered the SCAR H. SCAR heavy fires 7.62 NATO and actually earned its paycheck, unlike its 5.56 sibling FN SCAR Light. FN intentionally dropped cyclic rate to 600 RPM, slower than the Mark18's 625 RPM, because 7.62 recoil scales differently. That heavier bolt carrier produces a smooth, sustained push instead of harsh snap. Operators report controlling full auto 7.62 through the Mark 17 feels more manageable than equivalent AR-10 systems, which is frankly nuts. Free-floating barrels support 16,000-plus round service life with cold hammer forging. Quick change capability means 16 inches for patrol or swap to 20 for marksman work. The side-folding stock lets you fire from the folded position, unconventional but useful in vehicles. The problems? Same reciprocating charging handle destroying optics. Magazines are proprietary, expensive, and incompatible with M14 or M110 mags. The gas system requires manual tuning when adding suppressors. Early bolt carrier failures, including cam pin fractures and carrier collapses, showed up in field reports. But that adjustable gas regulator working at high altitude, mountain forward operating base, at 6,000 plus feet with reduced atmospheric pressure, compensates automatically. The Mark 17 delivers where it matters. While the SCAR was making waves with 7.62, Heckler & Koch was quietly building a 5.56 piston rifle with durability numbers so absurd they seemed like marketing lies, until Special Operations actually tested it, the HK416. Developed to address M4 limitations in rapid-fire close-quarters battle and short-barrel configurations. The Naval Special Warfare Development Group adopted the 416 first, and after the Bin Laden raid, everyone wanted one. Heckler & Koch ran durability tests that sound made up. Random HK416s completed 30,000 rounds with 0 malfunctions and 0 parts failures. Compare that to M4 specs requiring barrel replacement at 6,000 rounds, 5 times longer service life. SEAL Team 6 picked it because building clearance burns 300-500 rounds per operation, and they needed a rifle that refused to quit. The overgassed short-stroke piston compensates for bore restriction in short barrels, so a 10.5-inch HK416 cycles more reliably than equivalent M4 platforms. It'll fire immediately after surfacing from water, critical for amphibious insertions. But here is the problem. That stiff buffer spring and floating firing pin create slam fire potential, unintended discharge when the bolt slams home. HK addressed it with tungsten-weighted buffers, but the tendency persists. Cyclic rate escalates beyond 900 RPM as the gas port erodes, eventually exceeding 1,000 RPM. That overspeed condition trashes accuracy and stresses parts. The thermal signature under infrared from gas venting is noticeable, and that hardened buffer spring won't work with standard AR components. But the payoff is genuine reliability under sustained fire that would choke most direct impingement platforms. The Joint Special Operations Command needed something ultra-compact rifle performance for covert work, where SMG size matters, but rifle ballistics are required. They got the SIG low visibility assault weapon. Nicknamed Black Mamba, this shit delivers rifle ballistics in an SMG-sized package with a 6.75-inch 300 blackout barrel and integrated suppressor nested under the handguard, about HKMP5 size, but launches 110-220 grain rifle bullets instead of pistol rounds. Built for full-time suppression with a short-stroke piston and over-the-barrel can, it gives extreme sound and flash reduction for indoor or vehicle work. Operators swap from subsonic to supersonic 300 blackout just by changing mags, ultra-quiet for 5,100 yards, or effective engagement way beyond SMG distances. The MCX piston eliminates the buffer tube, allowing a true side folder for discreet transport. Joint Special Operations Command loves this for personal security detail work and staged positions. Full-time subsonic 300 blackout is still a 100 to 150 yard proposition trading range for signature. Full-time subsonic ammo is boutique logistics versus 5.56. It's heavier than 9mm SMGs, though the terminal effect is massively better. For covert operators needing rifle performance in a concealable package, this checks boxes pistol caliber guns can't touch. But sometimes the mission doesn't need integrated suppressors and subsonic complexity. You just need your standard rifle shorter for shipboarding and urban clearing. Navy Crane solved that by creating the Mark18 Close Quarters Battle Receiver. The M4s and M16s are too damn long for shipboarding, urban clearing, and vehicle work. Navy Crane cut the barrel to 10.3 inches and made it a swap-on upper for M4A1 lowers, giving Special Operations Command an SMG-sized 5.56 carbine that shares ammo and mags with everyone. Overall length with stock collapsed is roughly 26.75 inches, dramatically more maneuverable than 14.5-inch M4s. Zero changes to lower receivers, triggers, or training. Crane spec 10.3-inch barrels use tuned gas port diameters and heavier buffers to keep the short gas system reliable and controllable, including suppressed. Properly configured, Mark18s have proven extremely durable in torture testing. Pair it with Mark2 6277 grain or modern barrier loads, and the CQBR regains much terminal performance lost with 5.56 out of short barrels. But original 55 to 62 grain 5.56 optimized for 20 to 24-inch barrels sheds velocity at 10.3 inches, reducing fragmentation range and armor performance. The gun optimizes for inside 300 yards. Very short gas systems mean high port pressures, especially suppressed. Gas port erosion, bolt lug wear, and extractor life are bigger maintenance concerns than 14.5-inch carbines. After 3 decades of making 5.56 work everywhere through countless modifications and variants, the Army concluded that peer adversaries with advanced body armor required a fundamental shift in lethality, leading to the adoption of the SIG M7. The Demon fires 6.8 common cartridge at ultra-high chamber pressure to defeat modern body armor where 5.56 fails. That hybrid metal case design delivers significantly more energy and penetration at 500 and 700 yards, specifically punching level full plates. Comes integrated with SIG's SLX suppressor and the XM157 fire control optic from Vortex, providing range-finding, ballistic solutions, and day-night capability as standard. The short-stroke piston MCX architecture features a non-reciprocating side-charging handle, fully ambidextrous controls, and a folding stock in an AR-like package. After criticism about the original 13-inch version weighing 9.8 pounds with suppressor, SIG produced a 10.5-inch product improved M7 around 7.5 pounds, unloaded with can, shaving over 2 pounds. That weight reduction dramatically improved handling, but with full auto 6.8 Fury, the recoil is significantly more violent than 5.56, with troops reporting slower split times versus M4. The rifle plus optic plus suppressor plus 6.8 ammo creates a noticeably heavier loadout, fewer rounds per carried weight and higher per round cost, and that 6.8 is unique to next-generation squad weapon, creating a parallel supply chain until NATO standardizes something similar. The armor overmatch capability is undeniable, but squads are trading the M4 familiar handling for a harder-hitting platform with a learning curve. All these specialized uppers and variants exist because one platform became the universal foundation, the M4 carbine. The M4A1 ditched 3-round burst for full auto and added a heavier Special Operations Command barrel profile that acts as a heat sink during sustained automatic fire. After the Battle of Wanat in 2008, where soldiers experienced weapon failures from extreme heat during sustained combat, the Army standardized the M4A1 configuration. That heavy barrel prevents cook-offs, premature ignition of rounds in a hot chamber that'll ruin your day. The M4 gave troops a 14.5-inch collapsible stock platform optimized for mechanized and urban fighting where 20-inch rifles are awkward. The modularity ecosystem is the hidden advantage. Accessory rails, special operations, peculiar modification stocks, optics, lasers, thousands of enhancements turned the M4 into the most supported rifle platform in U.S. history. Units tailor it for close quarters battle, patrol, or designated marksman roles quickly. Properly maintained M4s exceed 3,000 rounds between stoppages, with 80 to 90% soldier satisfaction in combat surveys. The rifle has problems. Direct impingement dumps carbon and heat right into the action. In fine dust with heavy accessories and marginal maintenance, stoppages increase compared to piston systems. That 14.5-inch barrel struggles to match 7.62 and larger calibers in high mountain or long-range fights, spawning NGSW and widespread designated marksman adoption. But as the universal standard for the Army and Marine Corps, the M4 has proven itself across 2 decades of continuous combat.